like, oh, you're gonna do music because that was my dream and I want to live through you. He did the reverse psychology, like, oh, you don't want none of this. You don't know what this is. And it would piss me off, like, yes, I do. Like, I don't
Sure.
know if that's an Aries thing.
My name's Adam, and this podcast is all about you and your journey in music and how you got to where you are now.
That's awesome.
Cool,
Looking forward
cool.
to it.
Awesome. Tell me first, born and raised in Jersey, correct?
No.
Oh, I'm
um
wrong.
no, just half. You're 50% off. No,
Oh,
I was
okay.
I was actually born in Queens, New York, in
Oh,
Bayside.
okay.
Yeah, Bayside, Queens. Um so, I call myself like a Jersey Yorker. I'm more connected to New York than I am Jersey, but I did have the beautiful experience of going to school and having another layer of growth inside of Jersey, like, but right on the border of Jersey and New York. So
Okay.
it was like right there. New York felt like my backyard. But yeah, it was wonderful. It was like when my parents were just really struggling and found a great opportunity and said, you know what, let's take this while I was really young.
Mhm,
And so the area I grew up in is called Fort Lee, New Jersey, and it's
mhm.
right over the George Washington Bridge. It's a nice small community with easy access in and out of the city. So it was actually really cool growing up.
That's awesome. So you're able to eat quite easily, get into New York if you needed to.
Yes. Yeah, especially with buses and hopping in a friend's ride. Like, hey, where are you going? I'm going to the city. I'm going with you. With stuff that we weren't supposed to do at the
Sure, of
time.
course.
Um, no, it was just like, again, easy access, like having the skyline, or just New York literally was my backyard.
That is incredible. And how did you get into music?
You know, my father, like, I know many people can share this story as well with their parents and growing up in it. Back in Bayside, Queens, and seeing my father and my mother both doing the struggle. And my father, I saw him going out. I remember, I have memories of him every night holding rehearsals inside of this little tiny box apartment that we lived in. He had papers, cables, instruments all around, and I was absolutely that kid, touching everything, playing. I was very curious immediately. And because of my father, I am the musician and the band leader that I am today, because I learned everything for him. He's a multi-instrumentalist. He led a band, he had a 10 piece,
Wow.
and that consistent, business-like, but go-getter mindset, because both my parents are immigrants as well. So my
Oh,
father's dream was to come into the United States and the American dream. So he
sure.
came as a musician and was, fortunately, thank goodness, was able to make a life out of it. Um,
Wow. That's pretty
and
incredible.
yeah, and I think the only difference, not difference, or maybe just a unique story that I would have to tell, he never forced me. Like, oh, you're gonna do music because that was my dream and I want to live through you. He did the reverse psychology, like, oh, you don't want none of this. You don't know what this is. And it would piss me off, like, yes, I do. Like, I don't know
Sure.
if that's an Aries thing. When you say no, I'm like, no, now I want
Oh,
it.
yeah, sure.
So he'd be like, okay, don't touch daddy's headphones. They're nicely, wounded up. And I would
Uh-huh.
go, but that was his way of saying, okay, so that's what she wants to do. And since then, both my parents have been really supportive in my music career.
That's amazing. He's like, "Don't touch this microphone that's on, ready to record,
Yeah,
please."
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I just felt, I mean, I know that everyone has their own experience, but and I was just sharing this with someone else as well, because a question came up around my family around support and what that was like. My parents are so, I don't even know what to call it, off the book, off script, new school,
Mhm.
non-traditional. I mean, they have their morals. There was always respect. Um, but like, my parents never forced me into anything. They didn't push me into music. But when they knew I wanted to go into music, my mother, especially being, the brainiac of it, okay, let me go get everything you need to know about the business in this book right here.
Oh,
And
wow.
she kept me in line. And it was
Okay.
like very drill sergeant-y, but good cop, bad cop. My father was more like, yeah, you can do this, but keep practicing. And my mom was like, oh, you can't eat that, right? She knew the business came with, physical appearance and vocals. Did you do your vocals today? Oh,
Oh.
did you do your, really getting me in line for what at the time and what an artist was supposed to be and how we're supposed to prepare ourselves. And yeah, my parents never pushed me to college. Why you want to go to college for? You want to do music? Oh, okay.
That's wow.
I thought that was the thing, and I wanted to make you
Sure.
proud. And my mom's like, "Why are we gonna spend 50 grand on a thing that you're already in?" Because I was already inside the music. I had my foot in the door,
Right.
and I was
Wow.
like, "Oh." He's actually like, "I don't care about that piece of paper. Go do what you want to do. Go live your dreams. You already know what you know." And then she's like, "Okay, what?" And she's like chewing on a carrot. What are you gonna go learn? You know music theory. You know how to lead. You know, because my upbringing and being in my parents' band at starting at 12, I learned the ins and outs on my own rather
Mhm.
than a teacher telling me. So if you're ever in a situation where it's like,
Right.
I actually learned that through real life experience. um, so yeah, I say all
That's
that to
amazing.
say I'm very grateful for my family for just being the yeses and sometimes the nos if I got off
Uh-huh.
track, you know.
Sure. But to have them as such big advocates for you in your career, not saying, "Oh, well, you need this piece of paper to fall back on," and
Yeah,
all of
right.
that noise, you know what I mean? And like it's funny nowadays, it's interesting that you bring that up where you're like, I already have the life experience. I don't need some teacher to tell me. Because I was talking to somebody recently that went to Berkeley School of Music for like a year, and he's like, "Well, I learned the whole class watching like a 20-minute YouTube video, like everything I wanted to
Oh.
learn." You know what I mean? Like that's pretty much if
You know what?
there's a
Let me
glue in
circle
dish for
back to that.
everything.
No, understood. No, honestly, shout out, super shout out, and a lot of love to the music teachers. They don't get acknowledged enough, especially growing
Sure.
up. It was either you were cool and more, and sports got paid attention to more than the music program. And
Totally.
I did learn a lot from my choir director, the band director. There's a lot of things to be said about them. So I don't
Hmm.
want to just totally shit on them like I'm not going to learn anything. I learned a lot. However, because I was exposed to other assets at a young age that maybe a typical child wouldn't have.
Hmm.
That's why for me, I'm like, yeah, why am I going to waste my parents' money
Right. No, it makes
and my
sense.
time for something that I could just happen to know? And
Right.
then yeah, the YouTube thing. That's
Yeah, I'm not
yeah,
trying to trash music teachers, don't get me
yeah. I
wrong,
just
but I'm
wanted to
just
make
saying,
sure.
yeah, I'm just saying that, like it's interesting that people like there's access to all of these different
Yeah.
ways to learn nowadays. It's like
Hmm.
if you really wanted to learn how to use Pro Tools, you could go on probably find somebody on YouTube that's going to teach you everything, every little piece you need to know or anything you really wanted to specifically
That's
learn
so
about the
true.
program.
Which is so true because Pro Tools is a whiz box. I use Pro Tools right now. I'm in my little studio setup, but I only know because I've watched. And I'm
Sure.
like, oh, I know if you press that button, it's gonna sound like that. But I can't explain it. I'm like, move over. Let me show you.
Right, right,
Let me do the setting. I don't know what
right.
the code is. Control Alt. I don't know what that is. Just let me do it myself.
I just know how to get the sound I want. Exactly.
Exactly, but it's so true. You can find anything on YouTube, which is
Mhm.
brilliant this day and age. We didn't, wasn't around back in the day, which would have been
Right.
very
Yeah.
helpful,
Growing
very
up,
useful.
we didn't have access to that stuff. So
No, dang it. Um, but it's super cool. Like it's just the funniest things on YouTube. Learn how to tie a straw into a, but then
yeah,
like you said,
anything.
Pro Tools, some of the machines, because I know for myself, calling myself out. What's up, Aries gang? I am patient, but there's an impatience when I need something now. Just give
Right.
me the bullet. Turn this on, press this, because I'm fast. But I
Uh-huh.
know there's other um, brilliant people that like the breakdown and details. That's great. That doesn't work for me.
Right, right.
How do
Just
you
get me
do
to the
something?
answer.
Yeah. Like just lead me to water, man. Like what are we
Right.
doing? But yeah, I'm very hands-on as we're talking, and I just love to be part of all creative processes, and I switch up my hat. Like 1 minute I'm in fashion, 1 minute I'm in the creative
Mhm.
songwriting process, or I'm breaking it down with every instrument or note, and then I'm like, all right, now it's time to mix this baby. And
Right.
so yeah, I just love being involved as much as I can. um
Sure.
yeah.
You said 12 is when you joined your dad's or your parents' band?
Yeah, my father, just for clarification, my dad had this beautiful 10-piece, three horn piece section, drums, bass, guitar, drum space guitar, keys,
Hmm.
sometimes congas. My father led with the bass, so he was also a lead singer. And it
Oh,
was
so
my
he was in the,
mom.
he wasn't just the band leader, but he was like
Yeah.
in the band as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Amazing.
band leader leading with the bass and
Bass.
also the
Got you.
vocal lead singer. And it was my
Cool.
mom, even though she had her 9 to 5, again, that hustle status, keep going, that consistent, like we, the struggle, but no, we're gonna get through this.
Hmm.
Um, she would also lead with my father at night. And she was horrified, terrified, but my father said, I hear you in the shower. I hear you in the kitchen. You have a great voice. You can do the Madonna stuff. And, so that was their way of having some bread and butter come in.
Hmm.
But when they started hearing me sing, because I would hear their rehearsals, they're all looking at me like, okay, so she understands harmony, the whole spiel of when my
Right.
baby was growing up, she was singing, just like anyone else. But my mother put me to the test because they started adding me into the band, also babysitting. Hey, put on this black cocktail dress, sit in the corner and behave. And I would
Hmm.
cover, I would have my sheet music. And when it was time to do dinner music and whether it was a corporate event or a wedding, and the guests need to sit down, she's like, all right, kid, you're up. And I would sing, My Heart Will Go On, or I Will Always Love You, my sheet
Sure.
music. And so when she saw, okay, she's knowing the ropes around here. She's stepping up as a kid. But she saw there was a limitation that I wasn't, I was maybe too afraid to control the band because I kept looking at her like, hey, can I tell the drummer what to do? Or hey, what can I do? So
Uh-huh.
she realized she needed to step back, and she really didn't want to do it anymore. She was tired. She's a mom, having and not holding down a 9 to 5, and then also going to do these late nights that are 4 or 5 hour gigs. So
Hmm.
she played sick. Oh, I can't. Can you sing the first song? I can't. I'm like, yeah, mom. What do you want me to sing? What's the, I need you to do this for me, okay? Because did this whole spiel. I left. I'm like, Daddy, I got the music, and then she is like flipping through a magazine, like,
Sure.
oh, she gonna do it, and she was never sick, but she just told my dad, I'm done. This is where she needs to be. You handled it. So yeah, started at 12, and so I had a very different teenage year life. It was
Hmm.
like after going to middle school or high school, it was learn music and then go with my dad Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights to these gigs. So it was maturing at a different level, and then being um, responsible, knowing my craft, and then being this young little girl with these group of men telling them what to do and band leading. And they were
Yeah.
great. That's why, in essence, like they really were my college professors.
Hmm.
One of the trombone player, he had toured with Donna Summer. He was
Wow.
doing incredible jazz work, and so he looked at me. He's like, "Hey, kid, you want to lead us? This is how you do 1, 2, 3, ah!" So he told me. I just saw him, all the hand maneuvers and gestures and cues. If you ever saw a band leader do the fist and put up numbers on their fingers, we're actually like languaging like music. This is
Mm.
the key of F, the key of A. This means come to an end.
Oh,
This means start from the top. This is the verse. This is the chorus. So, um, cueing
interesting. I
in,
didn't I
yeah,
didn't know any of that.
yeah, cueing in the drummer, or how to cue a drummer when they say four on the floor. So when you're on the dance floor and all of a sudden you hear the music drop and it's do 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 do, and it's a moment. Put your hands in the air type joint.
Uh-huh.
We call it four on the floor.
Okay.
So yeah, all these different. I don't think maybe people who are just natural music lovers. There's all these other things that
Yeah, I'd
probably
never
no one
heard that
knows.
before. Right,
Yeah.
sure.
Hmm.
I knew there had to be something going on, but I didn't realize that there's like different signs and
Exactly.
certain
Yeah.
cues that people
Hmm.
have to kind of recognize.
Yeah, like so because so before they came up with like talkback mics, where
Uh-huh.
maybe the band leader or the MD, which means musical director, will talk in the
Right.
mic and be like, "Okay, guys, we're gonna go into 24 karat.
Right.
The key, the key is in F, whatever it is." We didn't have that, so we had to scream it out, 24 karat. Where I will survive, and you have to call out the keys with your hands, and
Uh-huh.
everyone knew like what key. F. Um, so which is those days were amazing. They were hilarious as well. But just learning that. So in that sense, that would be called music theory, which
Hmm.
is what they teach at Berkeley. I
Sure.
learned that at 12.
Wow.
Um, and also reading. music and understanding transitions and understanding diminishes and sharps and flats and just that we can go down a whole rabbit hole when it comes to music. But yeah, I'm very much a sponge, and
Hmm.
having those surroundings and those men willing to teach me, I walked away winning, and
Wow.
completely fulfilled with knowledge and also a good time.
Sure.
Yeah, because even though I was still stepping into this role, oh, okay, gotta be mature and hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. I still wanted to be a kid and freaking party. Like,
Right, right, of course. So, oh,
hey,
how long?
dad, can I can I go get some food? Can I get a
Yeah.
drink? Um,
Uh,
not at 12, but like once I turned
Right.
21, hey, dad, can I get a
Let me.
drink?
Can I go party a little bit too? Sure.
Right. He's like not on a gig.
Well,
Oh
how
man.
long did you perform with your dad's band?
You know, all the way up to all through my teenage years, and
Really?
then when I then started stepping into the recording aspect and started different opportunities, again, even being in front of people in the corporate and wedding scene, someone would always come up to me. Everyone was either an executive or a producer, or I know a guy that knows a guy, and
Of
you know
course.
cards would just come, and we entertained every opportunity, whether it was yay or nay.
Mhm.
But it did open up some doors and opportunities to now get me into the studio, and now understanding studio life and
Mhm.
studio gear and how to navigate and be a studio singer, because it's very different. You can be a singer touring on stages, but in the studio, or you can be an
Mhm.
incredible vocalist, demo singer. Shout out to my demo singers. Killing it in the studio, but you get
Mhm.
on stage and you're not really quite the artist. So
Right.
finding that balance to be able to do both, have a both
Mhm.
and um, studios started opening up. I started being invited to sessions, doing, whether, like I was saying, demo work or vocalization or just laying down a track. And one thing led to another, and started working on projects. And um, yeah, so it was just like with my father, 12, all the way up to when I needed to stop,
Right.
and start working on my project and myself.
Mhm.
Um, and then getting a deal, a record deal, and then doing a radio promo tour, which is amazing. I couldn't wait to do. And I went to every city and every state. I'm like, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Book me,
Sure.
work me.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, I told my dad, Daddy, I love you. Anytime I can come back for you, I will, because they're my humble beginnings.
Uh-huh.
But then the career started to pull me away. And I guess that was the plan all along, like graduating to, okay, we set you up. Now go do, and everything we taught you, take with you.
Yeah, I'm sure
Um,
he knew that. I mean, wasn't he that was kind of
yeah.
his goal, right? To set you up trying to succeed in the industry.
Exactly. Yeah, deep down, he
Mhm.
was like, yeah, this was the plan. But then also like, oh shoot, but now all these clients are asking for her, and what am I gonna say? Well, she's on tour right now, and
Right. Right.
and missing that aspect. And but it was a really good time. It was a really, really good time, and I'm grateful for it because it did set me up, and I was able to have those I have those roots to pull
Mhm.
from, as opposed to just being one of those kids you see on TV, and or what do you call it, those vocal shows, those talent
Y
shows,
Yeah.
and a cute little kid comes out and they're like, have you sung before? Nope, this is my first time. I would be horrified. um
Right.
but yeah, so it was definitely a good time, and I appreciate those moments I did have with my father.
Mhm. When you said you got to do this radio tour, did tell me about that experience. Was that from a song that you went and like wrote and recorded that ended up getting on the radio? I mean, you talked about record deals. Like, tell me about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, you're going through, once you're signed to a label, the
Okay. Well, how
label
did you get to the
experience.
label? Yeah, tell me about how to get to the label.
Um, Man, well, at the time I was affiliated with Rockefeller. I was doing some work
Wow.
with the Rough Riders, DMX, who was an absolutely amazing human being. May he rest in peace. Again, I was that singer that was, people knew in the community. Like,
Okay.
I was around the block. I
Just
did a session for this
networking.
person. Yeah, I did a session for this
Got
person,
you.
a session for that person, did a hook for this rapper, a hook for that rapper. So I started to build up my my
Like
name,
resume.
but my reputation.
Uh-huh.
People knew me, especially in New York. When you go to the underground, Village Underground and all these cool spots that have gigs and jam sessions. I was going to those. So that's how musicians know musicians that know
Mm-hmm.
musicians. So you're
Sure.
either in the inner circle or you're the musician that's touring. It's a very small circuit. Everyone knows each other, which is great. And I wanted to build up to that, to where everyone will know my name. And I was just super young, like kind of sneaking into the jam sessions because I wasn't quite 21 yet, but I was able to put on a little dark makeup, just be like,
Sure.
yeah,
I'm 21.
yeah, before they really started checking, But no, I just loved going to jam sessions and whatnot. And I'm trying to remember being affiliated, especially at Rockefeller at the time. And there was a guy that took my package, my resume and my music, and took it over. There's so many intricate stuff, like I can go on and on
Right.
forever. But Damon Dash I was working
Wow.
with him at the time, and then Steve Rifkin, CEO at the time of SRC
Hmm.
Records. My package came across his desk. He called me in. I sat with him to have a meeting, and on that day, I was supposed to sit with him and also Atlantic Records. I had like a back-to-back meeting, but because the SRC Universal Motown went so well,
Hmm.
they wouldn't let me leave the building. They're like, "No, we're getting your lawyers on the phone now. We're gonna sign you." And
Right.
I'm calling my, you know those stories they have on VH1? It's happening right now. Um, so I never made it to the other meeting. I say all that to say it was really a fast process and a, a
Uh-huh.
a promise, like a handshake. You're not going anywhere, right? And I ended up being with them for about a year to 2 years, working on a
Okay.
project. I was working on an album. I had a song out that they were ready to run with called Untouchable. And I just remember at the time, I said, "Hey guys, I don't know how this works, but I know that it works when I'm out there. So send me off."
Okay.
And they're like, "Okay, are you sure about that?" I said, Honestly, I have a lot of energy. I actually would appreciate being tired. If you get a call from me and I tell you I'm tired, that's when maybe let's put a stop." So I went everywhere. I would either fly somewhere, and they called it, I forgot, it's in my mind, pandemic, man.
Oh, I
they
know. Tell me
they would
about it.
have a specific, so if I'm searching for my words right now, but they would have, let's say, pinpointers in each location that
Uh-huh.
would pick me up and be like, "Hi, I'm your person for the North region, or I'm your person for the South region,
Oh,
or the
got
mid."
you.
um so I just forget what they're called. So everywhere that I flew, then that person was like my navigator and would
Uh-huh.
take me all around the the northeast part or the northwest part, or north of New York and Pennsylvania, and then I would go to Florida and then Texas and California, and each person had their own uh, destination to where to take
Yeah.
me. So I would
Okay.
fly in and then do a lot of driving and just stop from I believe it was from top 40 radio to crossover, because I wanted to
Okay.
make sure. I definitely want to go to pop.
Uh-huh.
That's number one. But I want to also go to the people with the blends that do pop and R&B. They're like, "Oh, that's
Uh-huh.
called crossover." I'm like, "Cool, I don't care. Send
Right. I want to talk to
send me
everybody.
send me to country if you have to."
Sure.
And I just remember walking in, when it was that physical time, and I would get everyone's card and meet the MD, the PD, the this, the that, the jockeys. Like, "Give me, I want all your numbers." And
Hmm.
it was great, and just like we are right now, but in person, and we would
Right.
just have a conversation, and I'm sure they have so much footage of me somewhere stashed. And it was a really good time. And I think at some point, um, it was around my Florida tour that I was on my last whim. "Hey, nice to meet you."
Okay.
And I still was going, but the guy in charge of the area was like, calls the label. I've been doing this for a very long time, and I've never seen an artist just push themselves to a point of breakage.
Uh-huh.
She needs to go home.
Oh, wow.
She won't do it on her own. Send her home now." And he was really looking out for me. He was just this
Mhm.
older gentleman, minds his business, barely says two or three words, just about his job. But
Okay.
he saw something in me, took a liking to me. He even gave me like a Florida cup with my name on it. I was like, "Oh my God."
Wow.
So it's so funny. Also, another note, never judge people. Like if anyone ever thinks, man, this person probably doesn't like me, they probably do. They just don't speak. They don't say anything.
That
But
must,
they
yeah, just be their personality.
exactly they show it in other ways. So when he
Mhm.
gave me this cup, I hope you get feel better, have a wonderful time. It's so great working with you. I'm like, oh my God, you do speak. You do like me. Um, but yeah, it just I have wonderful memories and my own chapters and chapters and chapters of being part of every experience and industry. And so I totally understand the whole jockey radio, now podcast hustle.
Yeah.
I've seen it from the root.
Well,
um
yeah, I've been doing that. I was in radio for 16 years before doing the podcast. So
oh shoot, were you at any station that I might have popped up on?
I worked, yeah, I worked at stations in San Diego and San Francisco. If you were in the California area, we
I
might have crossed
absolutely was.
paths.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, so
Wow.
there's a top 40 station. There's two when I worked in San Francisco, and then one in San Diego. So maybe at either of those we could have crossed paths at one
That's
point or
hilarious. I'm
another.
sure of it. I'm sure of it. That would be amazing. One day you'll just see my name on the wall, like, wait a
Well,
minute.
yeah, wait, I remember her. Okay.
Yeah, I,
Well,
I definitely met a lot. I wanted to go to every state, all 50 of them, plus certain cities.
mhm.
So, because I remember having a huge bag of business cards. Um,
Wow.
yeah, it was filled up, and yeah, it was. So, yeah, I definitely paid dues in that department.
Sure, sure. I did watch a video of you with Wyclef Jean. You're performing for
Hey,
Selena. That it was for like AOL or something.
yeah, it was. I believe. Was it AOL sessions? I know we did
Yeah, it
an
was
AOL and we did a Yahoo sessions as well.
okay. The one I watched, I think, was AOL sessions. It was
Oh, okay.
incredible. Um,
Oh man,
so
thank you, thank you.
you got a chance to work with Wyclef Jean, obviously. How
Yeah.
did that relationship form? Just through networking?
Uh, you know what? Through somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, he has a studio here in New York City,
Okay.
working with his cousin Jerry Wanda, who's a producer who's produced so many hits out there, like Maria Maria and a lot of
Wow.
stuff for the for Wyclef as well. Just many artists. And I'm trying to remember the link again at the time where someone was like, "Yo, come through. Wyclef's gonna be in the studio. Just pass on by. I'll do a very random introduction." And I just remember getting there and I was like, "Hey, nice to meet you." And I just knew my place. He's like, "I like your vibe, your energies, you're different." And I'm like, "Okay," because even though I was giddy, like, "Oh my God, Wyclef Jean, what the
hmm
fuck?" I had that other healthy ego that's like, "No, you belong here. This is
hmm
this is where you want to be. So act right. Don't act like an idiot."
Right.
um, and we just got to talking about music, what I'm up to. I believe I was signed to SRC at the time, and I was very good friends also with his keyboard player, piano player, and producer. A shout out to Arden, our keys, Altino, super good friend of mine. And he kind of put in the plug, like, "Yo, why don't we get Sis to, be on these records?" Because they were working on the Carnival 2 album. And
Wow. Okay.
he called me into the studio. It was called Platinum Sound at the time. I came in, he was sitting super cool, he's got that Brooklyn vibe, but also he represents Newark, New Jersey too. So him and I share a similarity, New York, New Jersey. And oh, excuse me. And he says, "Hey, I have this record." And you know what? I was gonna call J Lo or Shakira, and I'm like, mm-hmm. And they're like, but even though they're dope and they can do it, they're not they're not Mexican. And I like your vibe. I want to give you a shot. And I was
Wow.
like, and so what he meant by that was because he shared that he's like, "I got the sample of Bitty Bitty Bomb Bomb from
Mhm.
from of Selena, and I got Selena's family's blessing. And I want to put you on. I want to give you a chance." And I said, tell, "Push record. What are we doing?" So that's when I was able to add my little flair and do my bitty bitty bomb bomb over her vocal, which was amazing, very
Mhm.
chilling. And then also add a couple of things, and there was some chants. I even got my father to be in there's a part in the section, aquí estoy, dun, 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 dun,
Oh,
dun, aquí
really?
estoy.
That's so
So
cool.
yeah, to add some real, we call it puro mexicano
Yeah.
into the track. I was like, Dad, you're hard. He's like, wait, wait, ¿qué fue? Hey, what am I doing? Aquí estoy. Like, here we are. He was like doing all these shout outs, you know, Mexico, Italy, and here we are,
Mhm.
you know, America, da da da. Here we are. And so my dad had his little moment in there.
That's
And
amazing. Yeah, because
I
he's
think
talking about immigrants, right? He's like immigrants. Blah.
exactly.
Yeah, like
Yes.
in the song.
Hmm. Yes, that's he really wanted to make that correlation, even though, yeah, and Bitty Bitty Bomb Bomb fit and giving the
Uh-huh.
shout out to her. And he also mentioned Tito Puente and Celia Cruz. And it was super dope to be on. I mean, it was very, again, I'm getting goosebumps because these are people, especially in the Latin community and beyond, we look up to these artists
Mhm.
that are no longer with us. And so always very chilling for me every time we performed it. He also had put me on another song called Touch Your Button. And another singer at the time, Nicole Scherzinger, was on it. But they replaced me, my vocal, over it, and it was with Will I Am. So I was a brand new artist, a lovely nobody
Mhm.
that got to have two records on his album. And then he took me on tour. We did a couple of dates,
Wow.
and it was just such a cool vibe, such a cool
Mhm.
opportunity. Again, just right place, right time, but also, excuse me, the right connection. And I'm always grateful. My parents too, my dad. I mean, everyone's heard this, first impressions matter, but it's also how you leave people. So I'm so glad that when someone's, hey, I need a singer, let's call MJ. I'm so glad that I'm part of someone's list of thoughts
Mhm.
or list of singers or go-tos or phone
Mhm.
calls. I've worked very hard to be part of that category, especially in the New York scene.
Uh-huh.
Whenever somebody needs a lead singer, especially gigging, it's another way for me to pay my bills. And I'm grateful. I'm really grateful that everyone usually says, call MJ if you can get her.
If she's not busy. I
Yeah,
love
like, and I
that.
say that with a humble heart, but I work hard. I work
Yeah.
hard for it, dude. And I'm sure you have your stories too, but
I could
I'll
tell.
give you
I
my
mean,
interview another
I know.
time.
I love it. I love it. I love that you brought your dad into the studio with Wyclef because I was watching your performance on The Voice when you're on The Voice,
Oh
like
my God, yeah.
your when the with Shakira turns her chair and Usher, and you can see your dad watching, you perform, and he's just so. But I believe both your
He
parents
was
are there,
like,
and
come
there's
on.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's shouting, he's so excited, and when they turn around at the end, you could just tell in his face like he's just so
Oh man.
proud. It's amazing.
No, my parents, funny little spiel on that. It was my father, my mother, and my sister.
Okay.
And that I realized in that moment, and thank you for bringing back that memory. I got choked up a little bit. In real life at home, my mom is the mouth, loud. Everyone's a 10 hut. Like, you don't want to piss her off. My father's more like, like my abuelita, very just, you okay? Listen, you messed up, right? Just about talking me through things if I messed up. My sister's very much like straight face. Okay, like doesn't give you any emotion, or if she hears a song that I did, I think it's cool. You don't know how she really feels. But in that small clip, the truth came out because my sister's like, push the button, and my
Right.
dad's like, and my mom's looking, being the calm one, like, motherfucker, I know you're gonna turn around. I'm sorry, I don't know if we can curse.
You can
Oh,
cuss. Go ahead. You can say
okay.
whatever you want.
But that's how she is. It's the only way to be. She's like, you better turn around before I get this bat. She was trying to be so calm. I'm like, Mom, are you embarrassed in front of cameras? Wow, is that the only way you know how to be quiet? So that was funny, but it was very heartfelt because you could see it in her eyes that she's like that Greek pride holding it together. And
Mhm.
then and then it shows in her cheeks like, oh, bravo, good job. But my dad's like, come on, you piece of shit. Turn around.
Yeah, he is animated in that. It's amazing. Like I said, you could just tell how proud of how proud of you they all are in that
Yeah.
moment, that clip.
Yeah.
It's
My sister too, she even did, there was a quick point where she spun around like, and it's like, okay, I get it. That sister love, you're gonna hold me down, but you're not gonna soup me up. You, oh, that's cool. But to someone else, yo, my sister's they both her and my mom are the same. They don't do it in front of me.
Uh-huh.
You know, my father too. My father has a different way of showing me love, but I say all that to say, you know, I'm a different. I'm so opposite of my family. I'm like, give me love. But I learned how to appreciate, oh, okay, well, that's your love language.
Mhm.
Cool. I got
And,
it.
and
I'll
well,
get over
you always
myself.
have that clip too. You always have that clip.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah, it was big, especially going through that process at the time where I was mentally, spiritually, physically. It was there was a lot going on. It wasn't just,
Mhm.
hey, I auditioned for a show. There was more to it. So
Mhm.
even having them there and their support and having being able to have them flown in was very big for me. A lot of emotions. It wasn't just the emotions that come with the show
Mhm.
and the emotions that come with every contestant because it's their dream. There was other layers of stuff
Okay.
going on. Yeah, so yeah, thank you for bringing up that memory for me.
Uh-huh. Sure. Yeah, it was like I said, it's an incredible clip, and you can just see how excited they are for you.
Yeah.
Was that like what was that process like? Was it a line of people you had to wait in? Like, how did you get the initial in with the voice? Was it like a blind audition type thing that you stood in some line or
No.
okay.
I'm gonna be very honest.
You got to skip the line? Because I've talked to a lot of people that have had that
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah, no, I'll be completely transparent, and this is truly my story. When the first season came out, it was such a huge shocker. Like, whoa, ooh, the voice, this is different. Oh my God, the chairs. Oh,
Uh-huh.
it's just about the voice. Very intriguing. Really being able to send a message. Doesn't matter what you look like. We just want to hear what you sound like,
Mhm.
which was very powerful. And I was dealing with a manager at the time that was giving me all the bells and whistles and promises that, of course, never happened. And we were making our rounds, going to different labels, just trying to nail a new opportunity for myself because I no longer was with the label.
Okay.
And he says, yo, I got an in. My boy called me. He's over at this network. It's called The Voice. Like, we're going to sign you up. I'm like, and at the time, the ego, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't want to go to a talent show. That's not, and I know there's many musicians out there and singers, whether you want to admit it or not, will relate to the part where you didn't want to give in to the show and tell. We were used to the hustle and flow, the meeting somebody, the getting the in with somebody at a record label, getting a meeting, singing your heart out, and then landing a deal. It's
Mhm.
what we knew. Very old school thinking. But now my attitude changed. Like, you know what? If there's an opportunity and you get to be on TV, get your 10 minutes of fame real quick and take it and run with it. But
Mhm.
I was so stuck on how I had been doing things. I fought my way through. I don't want to do this show. It means that I gave up, that I have nothing else. I have nothing left. So
Mhm.
I took it to heart. But got over myself, got in, and it was a private audition. So I skipped the cattle call, the
Okay.
hours of long line.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I got through a specific day, which was private. You have a time, you walk in, they're waiting for you, and you do your thing.
Okay.
Um, and I remember in that season, I had gotten all the way like ready to get to showtime, but there was a opportunity that apparently came in with my manager, and he goes, yo, screw the voice, we're gonna go have this deal. And I think he said Sony. And I said, really? But I'm already in, I'm competitive, you can't take me out now.
Yeah.
I worked so hard to get through these like layers, these levels. He takes me out of the competition because all the info was connected to him. And
Oh.
I just then come to find out, I'm like, wait, I'm not flying to LA. I'm not doing this thing. And there was this whole promise. Oh my God, you're one of our top, you're going to win the show. And I'm like, don't tell me that because then that makes it seem like it's fixed. Let me work for it because I was
Mhm.
already in it. Again, very competitive.
Uh-huh.
uh, Once I'm in, I'm in. But then didn't work out. Deal never came through. I'm watching the show. Dang it, I could have been there.
Oh.
Seasons pass, and then I'm in a stage of revamping, like just real self internal stuff going
Uh-huh.
on, and finding my way. Industry's changing. I'm starting to fall out of love with this whole music industry. Like, I still love music, but the hope is dying. I believe in magic. Magic was failing. And
Uh-huh.
then one day I just said, shoot, I wonder whatever happened to The Voice. Why did they never reach out to me? And someone had hit me on Facebook, on the Facebook Messenger. And he's like, "Hey, I hope you're well. Whatever happened to you?" And I was going through old messages and I see it. I'm like, "Dude, hey, you're from The Voice." Like, "Oh my God." And I start telling him my story. He goes, "Wait a minute. You need to reach out to so and so because they've been searching for you." I'm like, "Searching for you? What are you talking about?" They're like, "We've been trying to reach out to you, but we have a different number on file." And so basically that connection
Oh.
happened through Facebook. I remember the woman in charge of the casting, I believe Michelle McNulty casting, she reaches out to me. She's like, "We've been looking for you. Oh my God, hit up my assistant. Here's your audition. See you soon." And that's when I did season 6 again because they were like, "No wonder we couldn't find you. We had your ex-manager's info and we
Oh.
were told not to contact you." I'm like, "No."
Oh my gosh.
No. So it was,
Yeah, that's
I had to fix,
awful.
yeah, I had to
Yeah.
fix some crappy situation. And then,
Sure.
fast forward, just being able to make the right connection and put myself out there again, right moment, right place, right time, and did the whole audition again, the private process. But it
Mhm,
was like, okay, I'm by myself. I don't have management. It's just me. And then the whole process went, and getting on the show.
mhm.
Uh, and a show is a show. And there were a couple of things that I saw that I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I'm not the one they're gonna push. Maybe my story is not. My experience of it was that sometimes leading with a sad story
Oh,
is
yeah,
the one.
you have to have the sob story, right? You have to have
Yeah,
like, they have to tell the whole story, like, you went from this to this, and
yeah,
now you're the
because
new
I got
star.
bashed. I got bashed because I thought, no, let me go with my true self. Let me share my family, my
Mhm.
father, how I grew up. And even that little snippet that they showed, there were some people that were like, whoa, well, that she already made it. Why is she on this show? That's not fair. She already, it's like, whoa, wait, y'all want some sad stories? Hold on.
Let me dig back in
Oh, oh
the
my God, give me the award now if that's what this is about. But I didn't want to lead that way. I didn't want people to be like, "Oh, pobrecita, give her a chance." I just wanted to show what I can do. But I can honestly say now, there was a moment where the bitterness, I was angry, I was so upset with how I was perceived and treated. But once I stepped away, I was like, you know what? It was a great time. It was a great experience. I did it. I was one of the top 20 of
Mhm.
millions of people who signed up. And even though my mindset might have been in a different realm, who knows where I would have been? Maybe I needed to go through. I switched up my attitude around it. I had to do some me time to be with
Mhm.
it because I've seen what it's done to friends of mine, angry, bitter, like upset. And I'm like, guys, I'm telling you, there's another interpretation around this if you choose it. And
Mhm.
it leaves a scar on you, because we all do see what goes on behind the scenes. And a show is a show, can't knock it. We all still watch it. But the experience was like, I think it wasn't my time to go, but you know what, it was my time to go.
Mhm.
And I was able to do something with that. And um and now be in a position where I'm talking to someone about me and my career. So I was able to maneuver my way around it and
Sure.
come out a different way winning.
Did you feel like when you left the show, people kind of put you in that, "Oh, you're a singer, you're from The Voice," like, I can imagine, like,
Yeah.
people that make it kind of far, then you just have that kinda stigma around you in the beginning, like, do you
Yeah.
feel like you had that?
Again, I really always want to lead with gratitude, but I'm going to tell you the truth. At the end, I didn't want attachments to that. I
Right.
am not, oh, the singer from no, I'm the
That's what
singer from my
yeah,
father's band,
I can
something
imagine.
special.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the singer from Beanie Siegel's record. I'm the singer from Wyclef Jean. I'm the singer that toured with the legendary Nile Rodgers and Chic. That's the
Wow.
singer.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
everyone, oh, how was it? Did you get opportunities from The Voice? No. It's just a show.
Right, right.
Um, but people, again, it's reality TV. They make it how they want to make it. Um, and but I have sent other friends of mine who have hit me. They're like, "Hey, listen, we know you've had your own experience. What do you think?" And I send them along. Go for it. Just have your music ready, have your account ready, have your mindset ready. Do it, but don't have any expectations. And then when if something happens and you leave, just have your stuff prepared and use it to your advantage. That's what I didn't do
Okay.
because I had a crappy attitude. I was and I didn't have anyone kind of like, boosting me back up. Once the show was over, I was like, don't talk about it. I never want to be asked about it. Don't bring it up.
Mhm.
And everyone pretty much respected my feelings around that. Even interviews, I would kindly ask, please make sure they don't ask me about the voice because
Oh,
I personally
sorry.
wasn't. No, 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 not
As
now.
I'm asking you
No,
about it.
oops, edit this part out. No, 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 not
No.
now.
Okay.
Back in the day, because I wasn't personally, my attitude wasn't in check. I would have been so fake. Oh yeah, it was great. And I couldn't do that.
Right.
Now, speaking to my team and my people who put me together with you and Graham, I'm like, oh, I'm totally down. I'm an open book. They
Uh,
can ask me anything.
I
So no,
love
you're
that.
you're completely fine, and it is part of my history. So really, what am I complaining about? I get to talk about a chapter in my life, and I'm
Yeah.
being honest that just had to work through some stuff
Hmm.
because I could have convinced anyone how shitty the experience was. I
Sure.
promise you. And again, it's a show.
Uh-huh.
I did it. Chapter closed.
You did the Mexico's version of it too, right? Was that a different experience?
Oh boy. Yes, it was. In so
Okay.
many levels. So the only reason I said yes to the show wasn't to redeem myself. It
Uh-huh.
wasn't because I didn't have opportunities. It was because that I lost my grandmother. My grandmother had died,
Oh, wow.
and I took it very hard because I didn't get to say goodbye. And I'm so glad I can say that without crying because every time I bring her up, I choke up. But it was a huge growing point for me. Um, because she was always by my side growing up, my abuelita coming from Mexico and moments that I've had with her that for me, I didn't know how to let go. I didn't know how to grieve. I didn't know how to be with it. And I remember the first call came in and I remember hearing the message, Hola, MJ, I'm calling from The Voice. We would like to have you on the show. Please call me back. And I'm like, The Voice? Get out of here, La Voz. I'm not doing that again. But then when my grandmother passed and transitioned, I went back to that message because they called again.
Okay.
Hi, MJ, we hope you receive message. We would love to have you. And I'm like, you know what? This is going to be the way that I grieve because I need to find a way to get back to the motherland and
Hmm.
I need to connect with her. I need to sing for her. And it's an opportunity for me to connect. We say conectar con mis raíces, connect with my race and my blood
Hmm.
because I have been so separate and far from Mexico, where my father was born and raised, and
Hmm.
only went there for vacations, of course, but I needed to throw myself in something that everyone would think I was crazy. So I remember telling my dad, Dad, I got a call to do La Voz Mexico. La Voz Mexico. I'm like, and I'm gonna go do it. Are you crazy? It's Mexico. I'm like, yeah, I know why. And my dad, being from there, he goes, no, no, no. Mm-mm. He starts speaking really fast in Spanish. I'm like, slow down. Can't follow. What do you say?
Yeah.
He goes, I know it's crazy. They're gonna take advantage of it. All the stuff that he knows very well. So I
Uh-huh.
was like, Dad, I'm going with or without you. And
Okay.
he found a way because the truth is, Spanish is not my first language. I do speak it, I do understand it. But again, from the country, the culture, the slang, the twang, again, I could have easily been taken advantage of, especially on show. So my
Uh-huh.
dad got on the phone, he put on his business, balls, and he was just like, yo soy mexicano. Like, I know what this is. And
Sure.
she's not going unless I go. And they're like, pero señor, she's above 18. I don't care. So they flew him with me as like
Wow.
my,
Like a
what do you call
manager
it? Not
type?
guy, not manager, but when a parent goes when the
Like
child
a
is not
guardian?
of age, a guardian, but a guardian slash my translator.
Oh, okay.
So going to Mexico, very brutal, extremely brutal. You would think, hey, my people, I'm here.
Right.
My dad was like, no, there's a way to say stupid without saying stupid in Spanish. It's a horrible word, but I'm sure Mexicans would love it. But it's like, no pendeja, cállate. just don't speak when you get to Mexico. And I was like, okay. So I remember getting there, all the contestants were there. And they're all looking at me. It was one of those like record scratch moments, but I was cool, had my hoodie on, just, I look Mexican, I look the part. But I accidentally was like, "Hey dad, can we get a I said something like, "Can we order?" And they were like, "Where are you from?" And then
Uh,
they started speaking to me in English, but then word got around, ¿qué es esto? What is this? She's from Nueva York, ¿por qué? And it
uh,
became this thing like, well, how did she get special treatment? And the truth was, the lead, the head of Televisa is called, and La Voz Mexico, they're like, I want her. They specifically sought me out to come and maybe win the show.
right.
Mexico did not accept me. Half were like, "Ay, mira, she's one of us, Mexicana, cool, represent." And others were like, "Go back to your stupid country.
Oh,
Like, why
sure.
are you here?" So I received stuff on both ends, like, "Whoa, whoa, what's going on here?"
Uh-huh.
But I took it as a challenge because you're not going to scare me. You know what? I'm going to win your love. And even the contestants were very mean. And what's funny is they all want the American culture as well. They're wearing American apparel. They're walking around listening to Drake. I remember one dance was playing like I Need a One Dance every hour. And they wanted to speak English. I heard them speaking, some were trying to speak the New York swag. And I'm like, dude, wow, you speak to me in Spanish, but I heard you talking in English to that person. So they were really,
hmm
cabrons. And but I won them over because I said, okay, Dad, if this is going to be a challenge, stop talking to me in English. And he, okay, pues, si cuatro quiere, whatever you want. And I'm like, what? You said, and he's like talking to me in Spanish. You said, don't talk to you in English.
Yeah.
So I literally learned, like, thickened up my Spanish. Um, like literally in 2 to 4 months, to the
Wow.
point where people are like, how is she going to do the interviews? How is she going to do this, and this? And there I was, hola, me llamo MJ Songstress, estoy muy feliz de estar aquí. And everyone's like, so I started to win people's respect and love and appreciation. And
hmm
it was hard. So no one went through what I went through. Yeah, forget the show aspect.
Right.
It was other challenges that
Uh-huh.
I had to go through, and it came to a point where they even tried to push me to the newscasters and to the reporters. And I remember being there like, "Dónde está mi papá? ¿Dónde está mi papá? Where's my father?"
Uh-huh.
And he was so far backstage that I was like, okay, absorb, just pretend they're speaking really slow. MJ, 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 and it was coming so fast. It was like, whoa, whoa, like the
Oh,
Matrix.
yeah.
But I was able to tune in and understand, oh, this person asked me, how do you feel in this moment? Da, 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 da. Boom. And I would lock in. And then this person. So once I was able to figure out a way to control it in my mind, I was
Uh-huh.
able to navigate it. And it was, again, I don't know how many people would have done what I did and last how I lasted, but I don't know, call it just the way that I am, call it
Sure.
Aries, call it just a go-getter mind. I'm not gonna throw in the towel and I'm gonna no, I'm gonna, oh, you're gonna try to shut me down. And then slowly but surely, people in the country started saying, okay, wow, she is one of us.
Uh-huh.
Um, and yeah, so the experience again was quite different. um it had its own hiccups, different
Sure.
than the Voice US. So the
Uh-huh.
Voice US, it made me appreciate the US version because of how things rolled out seamlessly.
hmm
Everything was schedulized, everything was, I realized how um their execution was impeccable, and I'm like, the organization much better over here. Mexico, y'all are great, but we're a hot mess. There was a lot of waiting. I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? But, they did what they did. It was what it was. I came out as a finalist.
Right. You made it all the way to
Um,
the end.
so for me, I was like, first of all, already won. I did it for my abuelita. I'm good. Yo, are we done? So and I never expected to win the show for many reasons. It wasn't in my path. I didn't believe it was for my purpose to win. Two, I was a Mexican American.
I was
There's
gonna
no
say, do you
way.
think they probably wouldn't allow you to win, right? I mean,
They look, it doesn't matter. They're in Mexico. It's not like they can sue me. They wanted me to win. I was
oh,
designed to be there to win. But I was like, stop saying that. Let me prove it to you.
Okay.
Let me, if I'm gonna win, let me win because I
Mhm.
won.
Right.
Not, oh, I know, so I'm gonna
Oh,
be
we're
lazy
gonna
on the
give you the
song. No,
victory. Sure.
yeah, I threw in all my shit on this, man. I
Uh-huh.
threw everything. And I was on team Alejandro Sanz. Alejandro
Uh-huh.
Sanz is legend. He's like the Mark Anthony. He's like the Justin Bieber of what he does. He's
Uh-huh.
huge. And I chose him because I was very clear and aware of who this man is. To be honest, I didn't know the other judges. I didn't know the mariachi band. I
Mhm.
didn't know Gloria Trevi. I was like, I think I know who you are. You're supposed to be like some crazy Spanish Madonna or something, rock and roll. Didn't know who she was. And here's what's funny, don't laugh at me. I didn't know who J Balvin was at
Oh,
the time.
really?
At the time, before Mi Gente, he came out
Yeah.
with a song, Se Necesita Reggaeton Dale. I'm like, who the fuck are you? I don't know you. And he was like, por favor. He got on his knees, please, please take me. Yo tengo un swag. Mira, we're twins. And I'm like, I'm not gonna, at the time, I'm like, I'm not gonna go to a coach who's a rapper. I'm such an idiot. Then he became this huge J Balvin phenomenon. I'm like,
Oh, sure.
oh, I'm an asshole. I knew Alejandro Sanz because he also did stuff with Alicia Keys, and he's a
Mhm.
piano player, he's a guitar player, piano player, full rounded musician. You go with the musician.
Right.
Stupid me. But from what I heard, some intel, I heard that Jay went in, and I was really the runner up along with another girl. But
Mhm.
he went to the from what I heard, that he went to the company. He's like, look, have my people win, and I'll do all these free promos and shit, because it was
Oh.
interesting how the two that went further, it didn't make sense. It was like, and when I wasn't called, and it happened, I laughed. I was like, oh, so we're done, I can get out of this. But the guy next to me, the guy that was on my team, he took it to heart. He was like, oh. And I was like, oh my god, no te preocupes, don't worry, you were amazing. It's
Mhm.
un show. It's a
Yeah.
show. um but I left with a great attitude. I was just like, I wasn't meant to win, because that meant I would have been tied in contractually. And I'm trying to go home. I said
Mhm.
my piece. I grieved. Abuelita, I love you. This was all for you. My family in Mexico was like, oh my God, that's my niece. So I felt good that I kind of gave back to my community and to my father's side of the
Mhm.
family. But I was ready to go home. um, I was there for a good 5, 6, I forgot how many months. My dad was with me, and he felt proud. And at one point, my dad goes, I don't know how you took it, but I'm very proud of you, because he saw the hate. And then he started to be like, come caca, like he
Yeah,
saw. I'm
trying
like,
to
Dad,
defend
get
his
off
daughter.
the internet. Get off the internet. Not helping, because he's usually the voice of reason. Don't freak, they're stupid. But I'm like, Dad, I thought you said they're stupid. You're over there.
Well, it's different when
Um,
when they're hating on his daughter. I could see that.
Yeah, but you know what? How, again, I'm about interpretation. The way that I took it, I was like, okay, cool. So that was a college course on hatred and judgment. And because it's gonna come at all angles, even though it is, I hate that it is what it is, but it prepared me for, wow, if I can take this, anything else that comes is like pew, 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 it's just gonna bounce right off of me,
Right.
because I'm really trying not to over dramatize it, but it was horrible, disgusting hate, to where I'm glad that at least I look to, I have family to lean on. I always check in with my mental, just to make sure, because mental health is a big thing. I'm just glad it didn't steer me
Mhm.
in another way that could have been super unfortunate. I dealt with every pain like natural. I never tried to, I didn't take anything, I didn't drink anything. I was just like, wow, this hurts. Wow, this sucks. But I had to love up on myself a lot, and
Uh-huh.
my family, you got this. And so it was what it was. It was an awesome experience. I think back, I'm like, dang, I was a finalist on La Voz Mexico. Then you're going to love this. Do you know that The Voice Greece reached out to me, and it was a joke? Me and my family, hey, I guess we got to go do the Greece one now.
Right.
And probably whatever, I'm a spiritual human being. I believe in putting stuff out in the universe. I said it, literally got a DM in my Instagram. Hey, we're from The Voice Greece. We would love to
Wow.
have you. We saw that you did, the English and the Spanish. Why not complete it? I'm like, this is where I draw the line.
I am done with the voice.
I am not going through that again.
Oh
because
my.
I can't talk. I can fake Greek, um Yasuticanis, it's a whole different thing. Evaristo para poli, opa, all this stuff. It's just no. If I had to go through that again, man down, man down. Uh, I know maybe one or two Greek songs, but my mom was like, they represent. They're all about English music. I'm like, Ma, I'm not doing it. No way. Oh, give it up, opa, for MJ Songstress, her third time on The Voice. Like, I would have been legendary. I think I'm the maybe one person that has done, maybe there's someone else that maybe has done two different voices, I'm not sure, but I would have been the first to have
To
done three.
do three, yeah, hat trick of the voice.
And here's what's crazy. I might bitch about something like I'm not doing that, but then I'll calm down, and I spoke to my team and my management, and I said, hey, question, you already know how I feel, however, I understand there's always a business aspect to something.
Mhm,
Is this a business play? Because I'll do it if you think so.
mhm.
And then my manager, Jojo Brim, he's usually the voice of reason. Like, he'll call me, yo, Em, check it out. If we do this play, if you do Greece, we could book a show, we could do this, we could do that. Let's take advantage.
Mhm.
He'll like put it out that way. When I asked him, he was like, fuck out of here. You ain't doing that shit. I'm like, whoa, just when I was supposed to be the voice of reason, now you're shutting it. Cool, it's a no. So
Perfect.
I had to humbly decline and say, no, thank you. We're currently working on X, Y, and Z.
Sure,
We are
sure.
not available at this time. um, but who knows? You never know. The industry is changing so much. And
Mhm,
one thing that I'm very open minded about is going with the wave, but then trying to go against the wave because we want to stay creative. You don't always want to follow what's going on because then you sound like everybody else, but you kind of want to follow what is happening business wise. And I am open to then, especially the pandemic,
mhm.
virtual stuff, virtual shows and opportunities, how to navigate, okay, how to put out music, okay, how can I perform now that we can't do it in person? And so I'm open to the different possibilities, even though I miss, live and in person. And but who's to say if another opportunity comes like that again, that maybe I might be a yes to it. So
Sure.
and now look, here we are.
So after that, I mean, you ended up putting out a record, an EP in 2018. Was that your first like body of work as MJ Songstress?
As me, my stuff,
Uh-huh.
and I had been everything we just spoke about, and after working with so many amazing musicians and Wyclef and Nile Rodgers and Chic, are
Mhm.
you kidding me? I toured with this man for 2 years
That's
in
insane.
stadiums where people actually love music, and to then say, I want to do my stuff.
Mhm.
The good angel, bad angel is like, why would you leave a situation where you're touring the world, your passport's going to be filled and you have a steady income? And the
Uh-huh.
other's like, yeah, but you'll never know what it feels like to put out your own stuff. So it's like, what do you go with? But I had to start a new chapter, and I got together with the right team, and then called my producer I had been working with for years. Shout out to Tyrese Ty Jams Jones, and I called him, brother, I'm ready. Can I come over? And he's out in Dayton, Ohio. So he's like, all
Okay.
right, come on over,
That's where my
fly on
parents
in.
met. my pa-
Yes,
my parents met in Dayton,
I'm a,
Ohio.
yep, I'm a Ohioan, maybe second generation.
That's
um,
amazing.
no, I love me some Dayton. I've been going there. You kidding me? I can name all the fast food restaurants. But yeah, I would just be like, brother, I'm coming, and he's like, come on, let's go, let's book out a week. And he worked with me day and night, and he's been with me my entire time. He's my Quincy Jones, he's my Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
I love
Um,
that.
and so my Pharrell Williams, my Timbaland, and he's always been there from the very beginning. And we just locked ourselves in a room. We were like, forget what radio's saying, forget what executives are saying. Give me a hit. Let's just make what we love, what feels good.
Uh-huh.
And that's why the first EP, titled "See Me," was about just see me for who I am. See me for the artist that I am, the woman that I am, the musician, um, the person and just hear my music. Maybe it might not be a hit or a top 40 record, but it's where I was at, and I'm
Hmm.
just trying to tell my story. And it was a great batch of work to get out, just again, just to make music, not overthinking, because a lot of times artists get caught up in make this, make that. Oh, give me a 24 karat. Oh, give me a crazy in love. And it's like those are already made though. The
Right,
constant
right.
trying to compete and then sounding like it. The music industry can do a lot to your mind,
Hmm.
and to your spirit. It can really do some damage.
I can
And
imagine.
artists, I feel so much for artists. There maybe should be a pre-prep or some type of crash course for all artists going into this music industry, because when it hits you, it's like a huge freaking wave you didn't see coming and you're just
Uh-huh.
drenched. Um, and yeah, coming out with it, um, it also was a sense of being therapeutic
I
and,
can
and being
imagine,
very
yeah.
healing for me. So now it prepped me for um, the big batch of work.
Okay.
It was
Okay.
almost like if you're a Michael Jackson fan, which I am, um, that batch of work for me was my off the wall.
Okay.
But I'm getting ready to do my Thriller. And there's
Ready for
some cats that'll
Thriller?
be like, no, off the wall is my shit because it has more intricate chords and diminished,
Uh-huh.
and it's just more like a doom 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 doom, like some of the raw soul
Okay.
that people gravitate to. But of course, if you were to ask, the majority would pick Thriller because it's
Right.
it's the hits. It's
It's
the
got all the hits. Yeah.
but if you ask some true cats, some true musicians, they probably would pick Off the Wall over
Uh-huh.
Thriller. So
Sure.
I say all that to say, I felt like See Me is catapulting me to,
To your Thriller.
my new batch of work. Yeah, I always wanted to set that bar. I want to make my Thriller, and everyone's like, "That's a big ask." I don't care. Just let me dream, man.
Right, right.
So yeah, it's been really great. I mean, music is my life. I don't know what I would do without it. I don't know who I would be without it. And it definitely supported me during this pandemic too. So I was able to go back and listen to those songs on the album, and just kind of it reminded myself, hey, okay, don't forget who you are. Don't
Mhm.
forget that this is what you do and this is what you love. I needed that. I didn't know where I was going to get it from. Friends, family, a YouTube mashes, song, therapy, or a course, a class, but I actually was able to get it from listening to myself. It was weird.
Amazing.
Like my
Yeah.
myself was my own self was talking back to me and giving me a message of don't forget,
Sure.
keep going.
Sure.
This is why you do what you do. So
Where were you
yeah,
when this
then my
whole
motto is keep going.
where were you when the
Sorry.
pandemic happened? Like, were you working on a record or and did it slow you down at all, or were you able to work
Oh
more
my
because
God.
of it? Like, tell me about that.
The day that the city, New York City, shut down
Hmm.
was the day that I was filming Give Me Tonight, my
Oh,
video
really?
that's
The
out
video
now.
for that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's the mashup, the Give Me Tonight slash Dame la Noche, because I
Uh-huh.
took one chorus from each language. And I was supposed to have this huge turnout for a party scene. And all my people's RSVP'd. It was like 80 plus. Oh, it's
Okay.
gonna be lit. And the day of, attention New Yorkers, we will be shutting down the city. Please go home in an orderly fashion. I have a video.
Oh,
um,
wow.
so we shot it tight, and some people came because they were just like, "Yo, I'm down with you." Some people were like, "I love you, but it's COVID," which I understood too.
Yeah, and at that point,
Um,
nobody knew what was really happening too. I mean, there
no,
was yeah.
clueless, completely clueless. Some of us were like, "Ah, fuck COVID. There's no COVID." We just didn't know what was going on before we really got into the thick of it.
Right.
And there was a small set, and it was fine. I was just so glad who showed up. We shot it tight. And yeah, that's where I was. I was finishing up that music video. Then everything shifted. All my shows, of course, were canceled.
Mhm.
Anything that my team had laid out as far as like a blueprint for an artist, artist layout.
Mhm.
I'm sure they call it something else, but just what was to come.
Mhm.
Uh, Interviews and in-person meet and greets and schmooze there and schmooze over here and recordings. Everything was really laid out for me,
Uh-huh.
and it just went to shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, so okay, switch the game plan, or that was instead of plan B, a new plan A. But it hurt because another thing that affected me was that's how I make my living and my income from studio
Hmm.
sessions, from the in person, but also the gigs that I do with another company that I work for as a band leader. I was like, oh, there goes my lights. Wait, how am I
There goes
gonna?
my
This is crazy.
lights.
So, yeah, there goes my electric. Shit.
Sure.
uh it was just really like having to navigate now what, along with the rest of the world with their now
Uh-huh.
what's. It was just like now what. Oh shit. In the beginning, actually, I will say I wasn't freaking out. I kind of, with some personal work that I had done, I said, you know what, this is feedback. The world is giving us feedback. It's telling us to slow down. It's giving us a sign for the go goers that don't
Hmm.
take breaks, or people please, or perfectionists, and that just don't know how to stop or say no. It now, here you go, boom, stay in your house. It's telling you to chill the fuck out. So I
Uh-huh.
I, I received that. Hey, I don't mind being a homebody. I'm cool. I'm grateful for the walls that I have, a roof over my head, food in my kitchen. I'm good. I could be here all day. So
Hmm.
I was fine. But then a couple of months in, I'm like, I
Yeah.
need to get out.
Now a year and a half
Now I need,
later,
yeah,
right?
because again, I don't mind being a homebody. I can work on myself from home. I can work my, like, set up a little gym thing. I have
Cool.
my studio set up. I can still plug in my mic. I can get on the Zooms. It was driving other people crazy who were so used to the being on and don't know how to turn off.
Hmm.
Me, I was fine. Oh, well, we got to turn off. That's fine. But then the other side of me that fulfills me, energy, frequencies, people, interaction, uh, air, smell of
Sure.
air. That's when I'm like, yeah, now I'm being affected. Now it's gone a little bit too long, and
Hmm.
I need help. I need some support over here. So, uh, but what kept me happy in some way was my team and I were able to shift inside of a pandemic, and I still released my Gimme Tonight video. I was able
Uh-huh.
to release the remix to Dame la Noche, Give Me Tonight. And I had a rapper from Spain, his name is Pinto Guayin, was featured on it. We
Hmm.
shot another music video with a couple of stills, safely, masks on, outside. So I still found a way to navigate around this freaking pandemic. I created a Christmas song in my head, being a stupid goof after watching some Michael Bublé stuff, and I got inspired.
Oh
Just
yeah,
like
yeah.
in I was in a giddy moment. So I created a Christmas song. I released the Christmas song. I made the Christmas video to Fa La 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 inside of a pandemic. Still, everybody was cautious and tested. So I still was able to do things. I did a couple of virtual shows. Those were a pain in the ass because, logistics and sound, but got through them. And kind of came out, was able to find a way to come out on top and navigate my way through. And now, thank God,
Everything's
everything
lifted
is
up,
being,
right?
oh
Especially in
my
New York
God.
and California, finally.
Yeah, and yes, and I'm being hit up to do some shows and some opportunities. I'm able to go back to my gigs. I just had a recent showcase showcasing my band, so I'm like, we're back,
Oh, that's
we're back.
amazing. That is
Yeah.
amazing. And
So
you have a new
I
song and
feel
video
really good.
out as well. I mean, with Carousel. Tell me about that.
Carousel. Oh, again, even with Carousel, it worked out because being able to shoot it, I just used what I had. I was like, let's shoot it in my apartment. Let's use up my building. Let's use it up outside. Outside is free 99. And
Wow, that was all shot
I
around
was
your
like,
house. I didn't realize that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, might as well say what it is. But yeah, the video is my little nook, my humble nook, and uh, um, having people that I was able to call and say and just ask, hey, listen, it's just me asking. I'd love to have you on this project. If it's a no, thank you. If it's a yes, oh my God, thank you. And everyone was like, I love working with you. Let's do this. So we had a safe team come in. Everybody had their masks on and just was able to provide a product. And we released Carousel, and it's been doing amazing. I just love that there's such great feedback around it and people are loving it. We released the video, and I don't know if you know this, it's kind of an exclusive, but we have a remix coming out,
Really?
and I'm really excited about that Yeah, a carousel remix with a special feature that I can't wait for people to see who it's gonna be. I can't wait to do this reveal.
That's
It's
exciting.
major. It's major. I believe it's July 1st or 2nd. Um, I'm ecstatic. I'm screaming inside. Um, so excited about this remix. So excited for this remix. So please, please be on the lookout.
We
Please.
will. That's awesome. I cannot wait. And do you have a
Yeah, I'm
do you have
literally
an EP or anything coming out, or are you just working on singles and as far as
this
right now?
remix is gonna lead into the completion of an EP. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Hmm.
That is
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Because the Dame la Noche, it kind of had its own single vibe, but it
Uh-huh.
needs to have a home. It needs to have a home. And then Carousel came out, so it's like these cool single releases. But I'm like, no, we do projects around here. We do EPs. So
Okay.
I'm really looking forward to, and I have a huge batch of music that I
Awesome.
could probably release two or three EPs at the same time. But
Uh-huh.
I can't wait to just really close up this next project, the Carousel remix with the feature, with the surprise feature, and also have the EP come out as well. I just can't wait. Long time coming.
Sure. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, MJ, for talking with me today. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was fun. This is a lot of fun.
Thank you. I do have one more question before I let you go. Do you have any
Great. Shoot.
advice for aspiring artists?
Oh, well, hopefully this whole
Well, this whole thing was advice, but I don't know if you can sum it down into however you would want
yeah,
to say.
um hmm. To all inspiring artists slash musicians, um, I believe this is truly for me in doing the work. And what I mean is doing the work, especially on self, and to always check in mentally, physically, spiritually, musically, what's going on. Um, to stay grounded, stay humble. Always look to check in on yourself because mental health is very important inside of getting this into this business. Spiritually, whatever that is for you, believing in yourself, loving up on yourself, and celebrate yourself because not many of us know how to do that. It's very hard. And give yourself grace. Know that each baby step counts. Keep going. That's my motto and my mantra. Keep going, keep going, keep going. No matter what, just keep going. If you fall, cool, no problem. Keep going. Get back up. Like if you fall off a bike, you get back up and you keep going and you learn. You navigate your way through. Surround yourself with good people, people that you trust, people that you love, and people that see you. And always remember your why. Remember why you do this. If it's because you love it and you're passionate about it, great. If there are other reasons because you feel forced, then maybe this is not what you want to do. But it's all about having the foundation around you. So checking in on self, your mental health, your spirituality, whatever that is for you. Keep going. Give yourself grace. Celebrate yourself. Surround yourself with a team that loves you and that trusts you and that will is not afraid to be your no and no filter. Like tell you the truth. You don't want to surround yourself with yes people. That's actually very dangerous. And overall, if you believe in you, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. The second you let go of that, then you become um, the victim of the music industry. You just got to believe in yourself, whether that comes with a healthy ego or not. It's staying consistent to who you are. And that's what I would offer to everybody.